I mean, it's kind of overrated, but you know.
Well,
Hey,
yeah.
welcome everybody.
Welcome.
Hello.
Podcast 113.
113.
Now, if you were to take 113 and you were to remove the first two digits that are ones, take the third digit, which is a 3, and then add a 0 onto the end, you would have 30.
Whoa. If you took the lines of the ones and you bent them,
Yep, exactly.
and then you put that on the
or you
other
flipped
side,
them over so that they kind of formed like a 0.
Yeah.
Yep. Illuminati confirmed. No.
Netero-san confirmed.
Indeed. Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Good to see you all here. Hey, we got some new follows from Flipper SK, Cool Times, Cabra Lenses, Maple Williams, and Zephyr Vane X. Thank you all so much for the follows. Glad to have you here.
Half-Life 3 confirmed by Jacob. Indeed. Yes.
This is some severely intense numerological skills. It requires only the most keen of minds that has seen hundreds, if not even 200 anime.
Right, because you're like, I'm not going to say thousands, because let's be real, they know that's not true.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, compliment you without,
exaggerating
too much. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I would
definitely.
say 200 anime is probably
I'd
a
say
rough estimation at this point.
That's about pretty close to right, probably. Yeah.
I mean, not to completion, but
yeah.
You're watching.
And there might be some that I was ashamed that I watched to completion, like Claymore. But, it is what it is.
Ameju, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub for 4 months in a row.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So 1 more month and you get your next magnet. Very nice, very nice.
Half-Life 3 was actually confirmed, too. It's going to be a VR thing. Oof.
Of course it is.
Well,
of course.
Isn't that also what they're doing for Spice and Wolf?
Meaning it's never gonna happen.
Spice and Wolf Season 3, except as VR, apparently. Yeah.
Oh,
there was something that I saw where it's like I paid $15,000 or whatever in order to virtually pat Holo's head. Yeah. So.
See, this is the thing, guys. Segues. Like, there are those anime that came out a long time ago, but they still hold so much power and sway over you to this day.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go over a couple of those here. Some ones that will be like ones that were influential specifically to us, but we'd like to hear from you guys as well. What are some of the anime over the last 30 years from 1989 to 2019? Yes, guys, if you were born in 1989, you're probably 30 years old unless you were born in December.
Right.
But
which the odds of that
that's kind
happening
of
are
crazy
about,
to think about, because then
12.
that means there are people that are 18 that have never been in the 90s.
Indeed. And if I recall correctly, Caleb, didn't a certain legendary show of galactic proportions start in 88? So it's rather fitting. I might be wrong.
Yep.
So it's rather fitting that this is the last 30 years.
Yeah, quite so.
Not 31.
So we're going to shout out our VIP patron here before we get into all of that. Desmond, thank you so much for the support.
Yes.
Thank you for joining our little sub-community within the Discord community.
Indeed.
And it's awesome to have you there, and appreciate your support, bro.
Looking forward to seeing you on the movie watches and the VIP call.
Yes, indeed.
But for everything else, all the stuff, because 30 years is a long time, Caleb.
30 years is a long time, mate.
Even longer given the deficit of hentai.
Deficit of hentai. Deficit of good dubs back in the early 90s.
Yeah. And the thing is, okay, so even though me and Caleb, for all intensive purposes, are fairly new on our journey into anime.
That is true.
And granted, while the theory of time relativity with anime journeys is rather wibbly wobbly, because at the beginning you consume 80% of all the anime you'll ever watch, right? In that first year, where it's just you're in some sort of time sink temporal vortex.
You're lovesick, basically.
Exactly.
You're just in heat, just dry humping all the anime you can.
Yeah.
Just you're all spent anyway, but at the very least you're having a very good time experiencing the pleasures that every anime can provide you.
Indeed.
Yes, you just play the straight man to my crazy man. And we'll be just fine. Yeah.
And the fact that that's what we're going with just shows how lost we are today. Indeed.
Yes,
because
indeed.
Caleb being the crazy man and me being the straight man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
How can I show domestic girlfriend? Or wait, no, that's because that is what the straight man does. Anyways. Yeah.
Haha.
But
I thought the straight man got involved with his stepsister that's not related by blood.
Well, exactly.
I see, I see.
But even with like the journey that we have had with anime, it's felt like we've come a long way. Like, one, because of the channel, granted, but like even before then, there were all the anime that we started with, like things, classical anime like Bleach and like, Naruto. Well,
and then even going before that, once we had, expanded our taste beyond, regular shonen, we watched things like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Cowboy Bebop, a lot of others that restarted them, didn't finish them even necessarily. A lot of ones where we like dabbled in like, some early 2000s stuff that was, this is okay,
And the idea that like
occasionally stumbling into masterpieces here and there, we didn't even know it or appreciate it as much at the time.
Indeed, like the Ghost Stories dub, for instance.
Absolutely,
that those things exist out there in the wild, and the idea of just how much anime has seemed to change over the years, and maybe it's because that we experience it outside of the time of them coming out year by year, but when I think about like some of the earlier shows that we watched, and certainly now that anime has changed so much, going back and watching some of those older shows, it's this weird sense of like nostalgia, but also like not Euphoria. What's the thing where you're discombobulated? I can't remember what the term is.
Discombobulated.
Yeah, but basically like this nostalgia, but also not nostalgia, because there's so much that's different from how it is now, and we've seen it like change, but then also going back to the old ways and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
Like when we were watching Big O,
Euphoria. No,
when we were watching Big O. Like a while back, like that was like a time travel trip where we were like, we recognized the quality, and we recognized that, oh my god, this is a weird mishmash of genres. What a fun idea for an anime.
In the name of God, I find ye not guilty. Like,
But you think back on some of the anime of that decade from like 89 to 99. And there's probably only, unless you're an extremely cultured individual, there's probably only like enough anime you can count on your two hands if you're like fans like us, where you kind of hit that 2007 sweet spot with anime, and then it like blossomed into like the maybe into the late 2000s, a little bit, but it was really that like mid 2000s point where anime just for you, for a lot of the ones that came out in the 89 to 99 era. It's probably only a handful of ones where I look back on and go, yeah, those ones were really influential for me.
And in a lot of cases it's because those came out back then and we didn't see them back then. We're seeing them now, and times change and things like that.
Totally.
And we acclimate to whatever, for the most part, we get introduced to first, and the strong impressions that shows can have on you become less and less as time goes on, because you grow up and you get older and you become more sort of set in your ways in the idea that something could absolutely turn your life around just from watching this artistic set of moving images in this Chinese cartoon with voice acting, either sub or dub.
For sure,
it gets a lot less likely as time goes on, but there are still those ones that you go back and it's like like Fumofu. Like, I love Fumofu. I didn't watch that one, like, especially at the beginning of my anime career, but right. But I remember going into it, and like, it was pretty much the only one that I had gotten into at that point that was a strictly like comedy show, other than maybe Daily Lives of High School Boys. But like,
that's right.
Like the idea that I was watching an anime just for the comedy, like for some like. It seems so silly looking back on it now, but that was a novel concept for me back then, right? Like, because there was always some action or drama or something, right? But it was just this great, wonderful high school romp slice of life with a little dash of romance. And then it's like, oh yeah, this is apparently the first thing that Kyoto Annie, as far as I know, ever did all the way by themselves. And all the other shows since then that I've watched from Kyoto Annie or Madhouse,
for sure,
over the years, and then getting to things like A Silent Voice, and having that kind of life-changing experience again, and then stuff happens like the arson attack, and it's like that, and it's almost like this bookend, this definitive transition from that time period where there were all those shows that I would, you know, watch and be looking forward to whenever the next one would come out. And now, you know, there may never be another movie like the Disappearance movie or A Silent Voice or, you know, a show like Famofu or Haruhi or, you know, any of those. And I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, and then my journey with a lot of the older anime specifically came from having watched them outside the context of the times in which they came out. So a lot of the old anime, just naturally because I was born in 91, I, you know, was 4 years old when NGE came out.
Right, and NGE came out. Yeah.
I was 6 years old when Berserk came out, and 6-year-old me wasn't going to appreciate Berserk no matter whether it was subbed or dubbed. I was actually a pretty good reader at the time, so I probably would have gotten okay just watching it subbed until I was traumatized and probably would have like gouged my own eyes out. But the point being, a lot of the anime that was in that kind of old school vein of things, I experienced like, you know, 15, 20 years even after they had come out. So anime that a lot of people grew up with, like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, like I watched the majority of those like when I was like 17 or 18, like far after they had already been out and going for quite a while. Or shows like Cowboy Bebop, for instance, where I absolutely loved Cowboy Bebop, but I watched it some like, you know, 18, 19, 20 years after it came out. And that whole experience of being like, oh, wait a minute, this is what people had back when I was a wee lillin, and getting to basically be transported back in time to those moments where I don't have the nostalgia lenses attached to it.
Right.
I think it was a cool experience to make me feel like the world of anime was way richer than I gave it credit for. Especially since there were some awesome people in my life that pushed me to watch those older shows early on. Like, I had maybe watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Bleach, Death Note, and what was the weird one that I did pretty early? Shoot. There was one.
Was it NGE?
It might have been NGE, yeah, but that was an old one. No, I watched Cowboy Bebop before NGE.
Okay.
No, it might be just Bacano. I'm not sure. But basically, once I watched Cowboy Bebop, I had only like, you know, less than 10 anime under my belt, and I'm like, oh, this is one of the goats. Like, you know, like let me check this out, and like, you know, Tank starts playing, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, yeah, there's this finesse and class to it that I don't even have attached to the time period. It's just the idea that, oh, I'm not gonna find an OP like this anymore. Like, that's just something from its time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't even like because I know I didn't. You didn't watch Cowboy Bebop the first time in the dub. You watched it in the sub.
I did watch it in the sub the first time.
So there wasn't even Steve Bloom's sultry, husky voice to, you know, sway us along into the way of the weeb. Yeah, I
absolutely enjoyed it sans dub, and then was getting into it, and I think I was maybe some maybe 11 episodes in, and then I basically like put it off for a little bit because I was watching some other like hype, more fast-paced kind of linear type show. Got into that, and then my friend who got me into that one was like, oh, you got to check out Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, yeah, I'm already watching it. And he's like, oh, wait, are you watching a sub or are you watching a dub? I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of watching it subbed. And he's like, no, just stop, go back, watch it from the beginning in the dub. You're welcome. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man.
So
I don't even know who Steve Bloom is. I don't even like have any attachment to anything like that. I don't know any of these like, you know, dub voice actors from like back in the day when they had to basically like fight to make sure that their dub like was actually really good. And then, oh my god, when I heard, yeah, that's right, you know, like
just a simple bounty hunter, man.
Just a simple bounty hunter, man.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like, oh my god, anime can be anime can be so much more.
I have my own little story of Cowboy Bebop, but before that, I gotta read out what you said. Well, a couple things. So, speaking of Illuminati confirmed, what if you add 770 between the first two ones in 113? This podcast would be lifted up high. Oh my. And what if Sabat and Bloom voiced Rui and Hina? Would we still watch? I definitely would. I would watch it like 3 times over. But
Wow.
as far as Cowboy Bebop goes, I got into Cowboy Bebop when I didn't know how to actually find anime.
Oh,
right.
Sure.
So I'd seen Bleach, Attack on Titan, Daily Lives of High School Boys per request of my best friend, and Black Lagoon, Bacano, but I hadn't gone out and sought out more anime, right? And there was this girl in my calculus class at school, and turns out she was really into anime, which was like, I was like, oh yeah, I know a couple anime kind of a thing, right? And then, but she would say things like, oh yeah, I'm not really watching it seasonally anymore, so I'm not up to date on what's coming out. I'm like, wait, that's a thing that people do? Like what? And I'm like, oh yeah, like, you should tell me some of the things that you really like, because, one, I love anime, but also, it's like, okay, if I can get her to tell me about the thing that she really likes, then we can nerd out over it, and then, maybe it can go somewhere. And she wrote out like a bunch of shows that like I don't even remember most of the names of. Outlaw Star was one of them. Maybe Ranma 1/2 was one of them. I can't remember. And then Cowboy Bebop was one. And she put like a star next to it on like a little slip of paper. And she's like, make sure you check out this one. She's like, they're all really good, but this one you got to check out. It's like sci-fi. It's about like bounty hunters in space and all that stuff, and it's really, really good. And I went into that from Attack on Titan, where it's like thrills, Sawano drops, and then it's Yoko Kanno, just doing her thing, and the slow easing into everything, and Ballad of Fallen Angels and all that stuff, and then of course the ending, which thankfully I was not spoiled on because
same here. I was so new into anime. Yeah. No one's gonna spoil me on these things.
Exactly. Like, and then it was like, oh, I see. And then she told me about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Madoka Magica, and from there, the rest was more or less history. Like,
sure.
And yeah, and it was one of those things where even watching it then, I knew that it was something that had a lot of nostalgia, right? Not just for this girl in particular, but also just in general, because of like, with the way it was done, it very much seemed like one of those shows that that had that timeless factor, right? Or maybe that was some of how it was recommended to me too. But and thinking on how like my experience was with Cowboy Bebop when I first watched it, and knowing that like the amount of nostalgia and like, oh wow, that was so different, right, from everything else I was watching at that time, and thinking like, then what it must have been like for the people who watched it back in 1998.
Sure.
Like it blows my mind.
I had that experience recently where we had on the VIP movie watch, we watched Kiki's Delivery Service. For me, this was the first time I had seen it. I've seen like 7 Ghibli films total. That's it. Maybe less, actually. Maybe after specifically watching Kiki's Delivery Service, now I've watched 7. Kiki's Delivery Service was so freaking good. That movie came out in 1989. That was a movie where, that level of quality was put into something from 1989, and here I am watching it in 2019, 30 years later, getting my mind blown. I have a theory. Excuse me. I have a theory that 99% of you in chat here were brought into anime first by watching an anime that came out in the last 30 years. Now,
probably.
Now, like, that's just something where it's like, well, duh, of course. But I wonder how many of you have watched specifically an anime that came out like in the earlier part of this time here recently, and
I think we just dated ourselves, Caleb. Amju, wrong, dead wrong. It was hentai.
Well, also there's people saying wrong where they don't even understand the question or the theory here. I'm saying the first anime that you watched was in the last 30. It came out in the last 30 years, basically. So, yeah. Oh, all the people that came in with Dragon Ball. That's true. I guess Dragon Ball technically started before 1989. Mm-hmm. So that's a decent bit of of people. Okay. So maybe I was wrong, but
I got into anime from watching Kiki, and I'm Japanese. Nice. Yeah, Kiki's a great place to start.
Yeah, and I lost what I was gonna say. I had my theory, bringing up specifically the
Well, you'll think of it.
Yeah.
My first anime movies were the Miyazaki movies. Yeah, I think I get the feeling that I watched some of Spirited Away before I even knew what anime was, and and I don't think I watched the entire thing, but I remember seeing the guy with like the spider arms and all that stuff in the boiler room, from like back when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Had no idea what it was.
Oh, I remember what I was going for here.
Oh, yeah.
How many anime out there have you not seen that are from this earlier part of the 30-year period, like the 90s, for instance, and you're just sleeping on? You have no idea that there are masterpieces out there that you haven't seen, that you're going to see in 2020, and it's like you'll basically have missed kind of that kind of period of time where if you had watched it, maybe 5-10 years earlier, you would have had even a little bit more appreciation for it or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just something kind of interesting to think about, is that there's a lot of anime, movies, what have you, that came out a long time ago, and for whatever reason, you're just not watching them.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many. And this does tie in very well. Yes, Laconic Kibis, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime. Is this podcast prep for Galactic Heroes? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Basically. Helix Neb, Lilo B Arts, Shaunison, thank you so much for the follows, and Trashocon with the Twitch Prime for 12 months. Yes, thank you, Trashocon. I think that Legend of the Galactic Heroes will be a big moment, at least for me, with kind of stopping of stereotyping old school anime that is long form. I think that a lot of the anime that people are even willing to go back and check are only the long form shows.
Gotcha.
But for me, I don't like the idea of going back and watching a 200 anime from the 90s or the 80s.
Right. Yeah.
I don't get hyped about that. That's a lot of time. And the anime from back then has a lot of specific problems and things that aren't just done as well because the medium hasn't been around as long.
Yeah. Dubs being a great example.
Dubs being a fantastic example of that. But yeah, like Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I'm actually genuinely curious. It's from 1988, so it doesn't really count here, but how many of you have actually seen it in its entirety? I am legitimately curious how many of you have seen
Akira,
the whole thing. Akira. Yeah, what was that, 90?
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. It might have been 89 actually.
No, it wasn't.
What year? Chat, what year did Akira come out?
It might even be earlier, like 87.
Yeah. Akira really blew
86. Okay. Ha 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 ha.
I was hanging out with some friends of mine playing D&D, and they were also like anime fans, but they're from like, a generation older than me.
Okay.
And one of them basically made an Akira reference by having naming their D&D character Tetsu. And then the one of the people was like, yes, Tetsuo, and they were just like, yep, and I clearly didn't get it, and they were like, wait, did you not get that reference? I'm like, what? No. And they're like, you haven't seen Akira? I'm like, no. And they were like,
when was
you
this?
call yourself an anime fan.
When was this?
It was like 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've seen Akira a long time ago.
Yeah, no. This was a long time ago, me playing D&D. But
okay, gotcha. But see, that's the other thing, is that a lot of anime over the course of this time, specifically for the West, there were a lot of movies that broke the cultural barrier essentially and became mainstream hits in the West. and it was those movies in a lot of ways that had the influence necessary to carry, I would say, the anime community into a big place.
Yeah.
At least in the US. There were a couple shows like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that that were a big deal for that as well. But that was moving, I would say, more already past those movies that had come out. So
Right.
Akira was a huge deal for that as well.
I think actually, like, when I think about what was probably the first anime thing that I had actually seen, I think it would have been Miyazaki's animated Heidi movies.
Oh.
Because I remember watching those as a kid.
Uh-huh.
In the dub. Of course, I didn't know it was the dub. And I can still remember it fairly vividly. With, you know, and it had like the classic like Miyazaki, you know, food montages and everything like that. But yeah.
That's a good point, Cychronia. I know anime more by era than by year. From, this is a thing, to, holy crap, we can do so much crazy things with this medium, to, hey, let's make these stories specifically for the medium, to counterculture of parody and edge to this thing we have now. Yeah, in some ways, I think it's good to look back at the last 30 years on an individual level, because then when we look back at it at a macro level, there's all these things where we go, oh, right, yeah, right now there are isekai parodying off isekai that parody off isekai.
Right.
Like, that's a thing right now.
Yep.
And, like, there's not just one of them out, like, this season. There's, like, 2 or 3 of them.
Oh, boy.
This is where anime is at. Like, we are getting amazing shows like Vinland Saga. It's so good. You know, really good, you know, manga getting adapted. We're getting ones where it's like, wait, I'm looking at it from the distance and I'm like, is that a show called Gunhead? What?
Right.
Like, how is this not the 80s right now?
Yeah.
Jacob, please explain to me this shit. Like, what am I seeing over here?
I feel like there's going to become a point where we'll just become like the old, well, of course we will, but we'll become like the old sort of grouchy, like, old people that don't understand what the kids are into these days. And it's like, yeah, back in my day, we had, you know, Black Lagoon and Bacano and Gurren Lagann, like, and Cowboy Bebop. What do you guys have nowadays? Some, you know, 5th degree derivative isekai series that apparently is really good? What? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. But, like, yeah, like, anime in general has gone through a lot of evolutions and stuff like that, but it's been interesting being someone that started watching anime around 2008, 2009, 2010, that area, where I would say one of the biggest kind of renaissances of, like, really good anime had already been going for a couple years at that point. So, like, we came in at, like, the best time. Like, it's always the best time to come in to get into anime and stuff. You know, the best time is always now. That's the best. That's the better way of looking at it. But to think about, like, how many of the shows that I've watched and, like, consider to be some of my favorite anime of all time are actually way more recent than, like on this spectrum of the last 30 years.
Sure. Well, and
kind of crazy to think about how good anime has gotten in the last 30 years. Despite having all that other stuff I just kind of made fun of right there. And I hope Gunhead is a great show. I'm just looking at it as an idea, and I'm like,
where did that come from? Yeah.
What? I love it. It sounds stupid, but I love it.
Back in my day, love triangles only had 3 people involved. But yeah, I don't know. Like, when I think, okay, so when you say that, what kind of era of anime are you talking about? Are you talking about like the, like, sort of mid 2000s, or are you talking
2007?
About, like, gotcha.
Literally, what 2007 basically was like the golden year of anime, and then, like, the next year was amazing, and the next year was amazing, and the next year was amazing.
Like 2006, 7, and 8 were all just like, bam.
Well, I mean, you have a special connection to 2006 for, like, 2 specific reasons.
Well,
like,
let's see.
For me, it was more
Black
2007.
Lagoon, Haruhi, yeah. There were a bunch of others that I can't remember.
But you can't remember them because they clearly weren't.
No. But I can't remember which ones were in what years and all that stuff. But yeah, Bacano, Gurren Lagann, so many others. Yeah.
Right. So all that good, just wonderful anime starts just coming to the surface here, and then we, as people who are new to the genre, will will slow down our consumption of the anime journey by watching something like Bleach for the first time instead of actually watching, something really good.
Oh man, I'll say though, like, and I know I've said this before, but going back and rewatching some of the early stuff of Bleach, while there are the parts where I'm like, ooh, oh boy, I used to be so into this. There's also the parts where I'm like, I see why I was into this. Like, and it's weird because in the nature of watching anime, because there's the stuff that's coming out now, and then also the stuff that came out back then, and like watching them both at the same time, it's this weird whiplash where it's the okay, look, let's see this gorgeous stuff that Ufotable came up with, in Demon Slayer, to, oh yes, this is just how many sharp edges they used in the art style, for back then.
No, I know Bleach had a really good beginning, and
and the OP, the first OP for
the
Bleach,
music and stuff like that,
really good.
And yeah, Ichigo's theme music, yeah, I get it, but the idea is that was in some ways, let me look at this from a positive angle. That was the worst anime we were watching, was Bleach, so to speak.
I hadn't seen Claymore yet. I hadn't seen, Maid-sama,
That's right. Jacob was one of those people that went and explored anime.
And even then, I didn't watch anything like too crazy. But yeah, that goes to show, one, how strong of an Ichiruki shipper I was. I watched Maid-sama specifically just because the character designs were almost straight up Ichigo and Rukia. And it was a rom-com, so I'm like, all right, let's go. And then, of course, I got to the end of the 24 episodes or whatever, and nothing had happened. And really. I mean, Maid-sama had its good moments. There was a reason I watched it to the end, but it was still like...
But that whole journey was one where people were recommending to me anime. And that, like, 5 years, that first 5 years, there were so many good anime that were easily accessible for everyone to recommend that I didn't have to do anything crazy other than, I went to some sites specifically to figure out ways in order to, and I can neither confirm nor deny exactly like what happened, but I needed to watch anime, so
okay, well, all right. Before I got into anime, really, right? Before I even got into anime, I would still see sometimes like the references to anime, like, or maybe I'd seen like Bleach or something like that. But back then, anime seemed way more like sexualized and whatnot. Like I would see all the stuff of like the things talking about like the anime healing, scenes, right? Where
that's just hentai, Jacob.
No, I know, right. But because I didn't know about anime and all that stuff, it was this thing, and me as a good little Christian boy of just like, oh no, what's out there? It was just, it was. Man. I felt like I was slowly journeying out into the wild Amazon or something. But Jacob flashbacks to fate.
Disappointed.
Yeah. Early introduction to anime included clips of High School of the Dead.
That's High School of the Dead. I just gave you like all the plot you need. No.
Right, it's much faster than that.
Oh,
there would be sonic booms.
It's more like
sonic booms.
And then random. Yeah, it basically plays out like the beginning of the NHK ED.
Yeah.
With just.
Also, where you learn tentacle powers are OP. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And porpoises can be very intensive. There's a lot of, backstory equals horrible, tragic death,
Yep. Kind of stuff exactly. There. Oh, man. Yeah.
But I think with anime, it's the journey of exploring what a medium can do to just entertain its viewers. And since the medium is one that specifically spends too much money to make it look good, we as the anime community get all this good stuff sometimes where it's like, oh my god, like it's just this slew of just amazing content and we just get to soak it up. What are you laughing at?
Family Guy 10. Jacob as a young Christian boy. Bible Black must be a very heartwarming tale. Yeah, the thing is, I probably would have thought
I think
that.
I've seen 12 seconds of Bible Black, and it was making fun of the dub.
Of the dub?
Yeah.
I
think that's about all I've seen of that.
And back in the day when all of a sudden everyone started talking about Kill la Kill, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, ooh, wait, no, that was only 2013. Wait, no, no, it was Gurren Lagann. It was Gurren Lagann. And images of Yoko, I'm like, oh my god. You know, because I was like, how old at the time? Like, god. How even old was I back then? Yeah.
I don't know why we're in this conversation.
I don't know either. There were some things that we had figured out for going into this podcast. That was not one of them. But yeah, like just thinking about the idea that like I was born in the same year as NGE, right? It makes me feel like my anime journey is so completely and utterly short by comparison to some other people out there, right?
It is.
And yet, because of the internet, we can experience all of it.
Right. I wanted to bring up also this thing of where taking the 30 years and just looking at it over the course of time. There are series that have lasted in their universe, world, what have you brand over the course of these 30 years, and they like either just ended or are still going. One of them I actually wanted to bring up is actually the Dragon Ball universe.
Oh.
The fact of how many shows have gone on since that time, and since Dragon Ball Super ended like a year or two ago. And they're like not done with it. They've released movies and stuff since then.
Yeah.
There are entire worlds of anime within anime. Does that even like do you get that?
Right.
Like there's and we're not even talking manga. Like we're not even getting into the torrential just hurricane that is manga.
Torrential.
Yeah. So specifically with yes, actually, thank you for bringing that up. That's another one, Mesker one, is JoJo's. JoJo's has its own kind of spin within the anime manga community because the manga started way back when, and there have been multiple attempts at trying to make a good, JoJo's adaptation and stuff like that. But it wasn't until like 2011 or something like that when they actually started doing, JoJo's, in the anime and what have you. What was it, 2012?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That actually blows my mind. I don't think it's 2012. I think it's earlier than that.
For David Productions JoJo's?
Yeah. Part 1 and Part 2? I do not think that was 2012. I should go and check.
It was either 2012 or 2011.
I know this stuff.
What year do you think it was?
2011. Oh, that's the
OVA, yeah.
Yep. Hold on. 2012. 2012.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
Jeez. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's not even talk about Gundam. Like, good grief. Like, I remember when I didn't even know that there was a difference between Gundam and Mecha. Because I almost heard them like used interchangeably, right? It was just, oh yeah, those are the things with the giant robots, right? But no, like Gundam is a thing that we know like nothing about, right? We know of it, but we don't know it, right? Like we haven't watched any Gundam, and yet it's apparently one of the most expansive things. Like it well, no, it surpasses I don't know. What's bigger, Gundam or Fate?
Gundam.
Probably Gundam. Yeah, I'm guessing.
Fate is nothing, dude. Like,
I don't know. Porn is powerful.
Fate is, unequivocally.
Okay, Gundam. Definitely Gundam. Yeah. Gundam is Star Wars for the Japanese.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's not even close. Like Fate is such a new thing as far as.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as it goes, yeah. But looking at these 30 years, looking at the amount of time and stuff like that it's been, there are shows that we grew up on that make that little time and that will make this whole chunk of time in the last 30 years feel like it kind of dwarfs like certain anime being the ones that we actually started with. Like, so for me, I started with Bleach via actually Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
But then from there, I almost immediately went into, I'm trying to remember if it was Death Note or something earlier. Might have been Death Note, actually, because Death Note was what year? because I had this break
2007.
basically where
2006.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
2007. Okay, so yeah, I watched Death Note almost immediately, once I was kind of hitting a lull point in Bleach. And it was basically like anime from 2007 onwards. I just got this like downpour of them being sent my way.
I remember thinking Death Note was so revolutionary because it didn't have a battle shonen power system. Like even though there was the Death Note, right? I was like, oh my god, it's so different.
Yep. And a lot of the ones that I basically grew up on as far as anime are just really popular. That's what they were. They were anime that were extremely well shilled, to say the least. And yet they were all, for the most part, rather good. Like, I don't think I was spoiled necessarily, but I don't think I really watched a bad anime for the first 5 years because I didn't do the method you did, which was kind of go on exploring. But you definitely watched a couple where you were like, ooh, those were some misses in there.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. And the weird thing was that, like, so there was a point where, what was it? So once I watched Attack on Titan, then from there I'd already watched Black Lagoon, and because of Black Lagoon, I had actually ended up watching one of Glass Reflection's reviews, but I hadn't actually gotten into Glass Reflection, and then I watched Attack on Titan, and I also found it, or was it the other way around? I think it was the other way around. But and then that was how I basically, like, if there was a review, I would check it out, and then I would watch that show, or the top 25-ish, anime kind of a thing, right? I would use that as my staple. But before then, it was just like if a friend recommended something to me, if they talked about something that they were watching, right?
Yeah.
And that led to a lot of gold nuggets, right? That led to the Madoka Magicas, the Brotherhoods, the Bacanos, the Daily Lives of High School Boys. But then there would be things like, say, Maid Sama, which I didn't care for as much, right? But yeah, and the and it seems like so long ago is the thing. It seems like such a long time ago, and I guess it kind of was, because like what I was like, maybe that was like 10 years ago when I first watched like Bleach or something. Yeah, around
it
then.
had to be.
Yeah. But now,
we got into anime at basically the same time. You were just a little bit ahead of me because I was doing school at the time.
Yeah, and I got introduced to Naruto, like, just barely before you got introduced to Bleach, and then I hopped off of Naruto onto Bleach.
Yep.
Yeah. But you were the one that got me into Airbender.
Right.
Yeah.
Airbender, though, was after you had already been watching, I think, some anime.
Was it?
It had to be, because that was 2009.
Oh, wow. I can never remember, because I remember when you were trying to tell me to watch Airbender, I was like, it's a cartoon, Caleb,
Okay, then you hadn't watched anime yet, so you didn't get started in anime in 2009 then.
Maybe
it was like literally the end of 2009 when I got into Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Dang, so it's been even less than that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, then it makes sense why Attack on Titan was your first like big anime then, because it wasn't much time before it had come out then.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We getting old, boys. Yeah, I know, right? Oh.
A lot of America's first animes were from the TV era: Funimation, Cartoon Network, Toonami, etc. Yeah, I'm actually now a little bit curious. Like, what are those anime that were kind of your anime is amazing anime? Like, not the ones that you grew up on and you have the nostalgia about, but once you watched this anime, you just went crazy and became like a crazed anime fan.
Where's that anime? Yeah.
Like you became a crack addict and you're just like scratching your neck and you're just like, give it to me. The next one. I want to know what they are.
Ricketts, I love that. Yeah, that was the same thing that convinced me, like, okay, that we needed to see Haikyuu was the Pro ZD skit of like the volleyball. I don't give a shit about volleyball.
Oh wow, this is varied. So many different ones here. This is great. Okay, so that's fantastic. What's also, I think, really cool here is that a lot of these are rather recent in terms of these 30 years that I'm bringing up here. And that's probably just in general because of the age of everyone here and what have you. But some of them are also more long-running shows where I'm curious if it's actually the beginning of watching said, shonen,
or just the journey of going
through it. Yeah, because a lot of people said Naruto.
Inuyasha, yeah.
Oh, who said Inuyasha?
Lairdom.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty old one. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, actually, no. Inuyasha's like 2000 or something like that.
Yeah, but
it's not that old then.
It's almost 20 years old now.
I know, but that's not that old.
Yeah, but that's what blows me away. Like the idea that Spice and Wolf came out more than 10 years ago. Like that Attack on Titan. Like, okay, think about this for a second.
Yeah.
Like, so we've gone on our own journey with anime and stuff.
Right.
But then, and given that our journey with anime is actually not that big, considering, certainly not as long as a lot of the shows that we've seen, right? Mm-hmm. Because they would be shows that came out before we got into anime, or even, for some, like, when we had barely been born. But then there's things like Attack on Titan and Ruby, where it's like, they come out pretty early on, all things considered, in our anime journey, and we get to watch them grow up. Like,
sure, that's a good point.
It's the craziest thing. Even though it's only been, 6-7 years, right? Like how long has it actually been? Yeah, Attack on Titan was 2013, so 6 years ago, right? And Ruby, I think, was, then 2012. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Not that long, and yet. Oh, yeah.
And yet, what?
Oh, and yet, this is how much things have changed. This is how much we've changed. Anime as a medium has changed, like.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, what I find to be rather amazing though is that anime as a whole has only gotten better, really, since that time, and that's partially because I would say the one thing that, while you could definitely look at the number of quality shows versus the number of not quality shows, basically, yeah, sure, the ratios have gone down quite a bit, but what I find to be rather interesting is more just how much we're getting, and that you're still getting on a seasonal basis a pretty consistent stream of just like slaps, like absolutely like amazingly good stuff. And that's not like uncommon now. Like, if anything, we'll have seasons of anime where it'll be like, only like one or two good things this season, it's not. It's like, what every season?
When you have 3 times the anime coming out per season, you get more shots at good anime. That is definitely true, Leonard. One of the things though, when I was like thinking about this, I looked up to see if like what was coming out on like years that we were born,
Sure.
And like NGE for me, right? But 91 for you. In the summer season of 91, it was either summer or spring. I think it was one of those two. There was only one anime coming out that was not a continuation of a previous anime.
Whoa.
Only one. Yeah.
What was it?
I can't remember. It had like Onisama in the name or something like that.
So they were all sequels.
Yeah. They were all sequels of like long-running stuff, which granted, most stuff was long-running back then. But just think about that for a second. Could you imagine what would happen if today, there was a season where only one original anime was coming out, and not original like no source material, but starting that season? That'd be crazy.
Like, we definitely get a lot of sequels, but we are probably not appreciating how many weird shows just come out that we just don't watch, because they're just going out there and like, hey, we're doing our thing. Yeah, we're not going to be a masterpiece show or what have you, but there you go. 10 years ago, the average amount of anime per year was about 100. Now it's 250 plus. Think about that, guys.
Yeah.
Think about that. 10 years. That was 2009.
Yep.
That was basically when I started watching anime. So I've been watching anime for about 10 years. But I've been watching anime over the course that have come out over the course of the last 30 years, with a couple, Miyazaki films.
Right.
Before that. But that's it.
Yep.
So in a lot of ways, even though anime has been around for a lot longer than 30 years, the medium as a whole is getting more and more condensed towards that latter part here, where we have so many anime that are coming out nowadays that you could be satiated and have more than enough to satisfy your entertainment needs.
Yep.
And never really go back and look and see what was going on
like,
in the past, like 20 years even.
Well, yeah. So 20 years, right? The guy that was surprised I had never seen Akira, he was either like 15 or 20 years older than me, somewhere around there, right?
And you probably asked him how many anime he'd seen, you know?
Well, no.
Oh, no.
So this is the guy that would tell me about how he would get like stuffed in his own locker because he watched anime, right? Now we've got freaking Elon Musk taking like Tesla, photos and stuff in a Kakaguri shirt and making Edward Elric his profile picture, right? like we have things like that, and like
a truly dank individual.
Yeah, and who was it? Like one of the Kardashians that like made some post about how she was like a big fan of 02 from the
gosh,
the freaking.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What? Why is my mind blanking? Yeah,
that
but like,
trigger show.
Like that. Like, how does that even happen? Like 20 years. Like you know, looking back on it, or in history books or whatever, it's like 20 years. That's not a long time. That's a long time. That's a long time. Things change a lot in 20 years.
Yeah.
Like Cowboy Bebop was 20 years ago.
Kanye West said Evangelion is the best show he watched.
Wow.
Of course he would say that.
Okay, yeah.
Kanye is insane. So like he'd be like, guys, I understand it. And then he'd be like,
right. So Kim Kardashian dyed her hair pink and says it was because of 02. And then we've got Jaden Smith making the pink hair reminded me making his own
Toblerone.
Anime. Yeah, exactly. He didn't deserve that Toblerone.
No, he slapped Netflix with his giant Toblerone and said, make me an anime.
Yeah. And Sam L. Jackson saying on camera in an interview, like, do you like anime? Yes, I do. Hentai too. like that. Like, I remember when I would see like the little like gifs of that and things like that, I would think, oh, that's some sort of like that's not what it was actually said, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or there was some story behind it. He wasn't saying that because he actually thought that. No, apparently, yeah. So what?
Oh man. Oh yeah. So over the last 30 years, what would you say are like your, I don't know, top 5 shows that just kind of influenced you the most? Even if they're the shows that aren't like your favorite shows, they're the 5 shows that probably made you who you are. Because when I think back to anime over the last 30 years, a lot of the anime that made me who I am are actually the ones that I watched like as they were coming out in a weird way. A lot of the ones that I went back and binged,
yeah, it's easier to forget them because
I didn't really have as much of an attachment to them.
Right, because you finished them in an afternoon. Yeah.
Right. And I think that anime has this very, very interesting kind of storytelling thing that it creates for people where it's less actually about the story within the anime and it's the journey of you experiencing said anime that actually kind of creates a lot of that stuff. Because I'm thinking back on the ones that I put up in that really old YouTube video that we did forever ago. That that was a thing. Yep.
I wasn't cringing because of that.
Like we literally did a top 10 anime recommendations YouTube video.
Oh God.
From like forever ago.
Why would you tell them about this?
Oh, why not? They can go and find it and give it some views. It doesn't deserve it, but what have you.
Oh man.
The animes that we put on here, I'm just going to bring them up because this is back in 2017. I wanted to kind of do a flash from the past. I put Code Geass as like the lowest one on the list for me. You put Gurren Lagann as the lowest one on the list for you.
Well, did we do it in any particular order?
Well, we kind of did. We kind of did, but not really. I then put Madoka Magica. Then you put Black Lagoon.
Right.
Then I put Bacano. And then you put
Toradora.
Did I almost say Dororo? Yeah. Then I put Steins Gate. And then you put Spice and Wolf.
Yes.
I put Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. and then you of course put Haruhi.
Yeah.
And this was kind of an interesting time where we hadn't watched that many anime, but we still had enough to where we could make this list and feel comfortable going, yeah, I think people, if anything, will kind of understand. Like that was a that was a good list. You know, that's not half bad.
Those are great anime. Like if you haven't seen them, you should definitely check them out. But yeah, oh man.
But what I love also is that there's still one of those that I haven't seen anything of yet.
Yep,
Spice and Wolf.
Yep.
Like there are anime out there that are on people's like top 5 basically anime ever list, and no, I still haven't seen any of them yet. I love that. I love that. That's just so cool. New list when? Maybe one of these days, if we just wanted to basically trigger people, basically, because now people care about our opinions a little bit. So
yeah,
back then they were just like, who cares, you know?
New channel, who dis?
yeah, seriously. And I subverted the whole list at the end of that video. That's why I wanted to basically say that. And I had another show entirely that's not even technically an anime, and put that as the top one up there.
Oh, Avatar: The Last
Airbender, obviously. Yeah, it wasn't a surprise. It was,
Domikano anime definitely making that list. Well, the thing is, actually, in a lot of ways, when we made that video, it was as a "this is who we are" kind of a thing.
Sure.
So for the anime fans, you know, these are some of the things that we really
we've already watched.
Yeah,
so we won't do reactions on these.
Right, we won't do reactions to them, and these are the kinds of things that we would be looking for, like stuff similar to this, you know.
For sure. Yeah. Lots of Hollywood movies plagiarize anime too. Oh yeah.
Chronicle. That was just Akira, and what was the Black Swan?
Mm-hmm.
That was the Satoshi Kon movie. Perfect Blue, I think.
Millennium Actress.
One of those two. I can't remember.
I don't know. Yeah. You're the type of guys whose taste seems to be like it was shaped by watching Gig.
In many ways, yes.
That's him.
The two YouTubers I watched when I was getting into anime was Giguk and Glass Reflections. And when Giguk actually like went into doing his channel full time, that was one of the coolest things ever. I was like, that's awesome, way to go. And then when we started doing the channel, it was like, I wonder if we could actually make this like be a a full time gig like Giguk's doing.
I'm going to go back through a couple of the top 5s and see what y'all put in. Trashocon, FMA, Your Lie in April, Hunter x Hunter, Steins Gate, and Spice and Wolf.
Nice.
Wow. There's a lot of crossover with our lists there.
Yep.
3 out of the 5. And the only reason why I'd say these 2 weren't considered was just because we hadn't seen them yet. Your Lie in April and Hunter x Hunter are very much like top anime material stuff right there. Mm-hmm. Chaos Pudding. This is a good list. Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, Kogiasa, Kill la Kill, and Hunter x Hunter.
Nice.
All stuff we have seen. Anyone with ones where like I haven't seen a lot of them on there.
Oh god, that.
Let's see. There's not too many 5 anime lists here.
Monogatari,
wait, here we go.
Gate, JoJo's Rakugo, Your Lie in April.
Oh, cool ones.
Go.
Challenger Kiddo. Let's see. Not actually that many. Yeah. Oh, okay, here we go. Gabriel Braga. Number 1 influence, Rurouni Kenshin, 1999 OVA. Saint Seiya, 1986. Then Sangatsu, Noragami, and Hunter x Hunter nowadays. Wow.
Cool.
I've only seen 2 of those. That's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, and Inception was basically just Paprika.
Yep.
But, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But,
yeah.
Trying to make it mechanical.
Right, and then at least in the case of Edge of Tomorrow, they were upfront about the fact that, we're just taking All You Need Is Kill and making a movie out of it probably one of the best anime live-action adaptations we've ever gotten.
Because they, completely throughout the story
and did their own thing, yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's kind of crazy how overrepresented Hunter x Hunter fans are among SOS's fan base relative to the wider anime community.
Oh. Interesting.
Oh, interesting. I thought Hunter x Hunter was one of the most popular shonen, of all time. I would assume we've got a pretty decent representation of.
It's like Hunter x Hunter reactions is a big part of their channel. Yeah, I feel like it's like that in JoJo's. It's like, oh yeah, when things just go on for that long, it's like,
Yeah, that's probably it.
We'd probably end up having a lot of people that like those shows.
Like, there's very few people that come back to me and say, like, I'm very happy about your Devil is a Part-Timer reactions.
Oh.
But they're surprisingly some of the most highly viewed reactions we have, actually.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Yep. I mean, Devil's Part-Timer is pretty great.
I mean, it was super fun.
Yeah.
Like
I still very fondly remember our good housewife.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What was his name again?
Ashia.
Or
Alciel. But yeah. Ashia. You
Alciel, yes.
You wonderful housewife, you.
Yes.
Mausama does appreciate and depend on your emotional support.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Psychronia. In no particular order: School Rumble, Fumofu, History's Strongest Disciple, Konosuba, and if you count manga, Kaguya-sama.
Nice.
Fumofu
is one of those ones that, like, oh, man.
I love how much comedy is in this list.
There is a lot of comedy in that list. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Very cool, Psychronia.
I haven't. So we have another brother, and
yes.
Well,
we have other brothers.
We have other brothers, yeah.
Yes.
But one of them hasn't seen Fumofu yet, or I think I've gotten him to see like maybe one episode, but I'm not even sure.
He saw the first episode.
Yeah, he saw the first episode, and I'm so excited to show him the rest of it. But yeah.
Ooh, Hibike Euphonium, Violet Evergarden, along with Tales of Berseria. Oh,
wow. Those are some, like, I mean, I don't know much about Sound Euphonium, like, since I haven't seen it, but I know kind of what it's about, and Violet Evergarden, it's like, okay, cool.
Ooh,
and then Tales of Berseria.
Yeah. Ippo, JoJo, Sorayori, Haikyuu, and Steins Gate. That's like, you're just hitting all my love strings right there, Bytecraft. With the Haikyuu, the Sorayori, the Steins Gate, Ippo,
Wolf's Rain,
JoJo's.
Darker Than Black, Hunter x Hunter, JoJo's, Inuyasha.
Ooh.
I haven't seen Wolf's Rain yet. I really want to, because I love Wolf's
HD
Children.
Cost. That's
and Yoko Kanno did the music for Wolf's Rain, I think, right? I think she did.
You guys can check the Mal top 10 list and see how many you have seen.
I mean, we do that pretty regularly for like figuring out polls and stuff.
Yeah. Huh. JoJo.
There you go.
What is this name? DSP Guanglai. Okay.
Darker Than Black was pretty great. It was weirdly Western in feeling because it was kind of like a cop drama, basically.
Yeah.
But it was still really good, and it had the kind of use of like anime powers that I would expect in a Western live action show, because they didn't do it very much, and it was more for like narrative flair than like for like, big visual spectacles.
I think you like Darker Than Black a lot because you were still salty about Heroes at the time.
Potentially. Although I gotta say that OVA with the fan fiction writer that recognizes him based on his collarbones, I really appreciated that. That was the perfect way to end the show. Angel Beats, Hunter x Hunter, Gurren Lagann, JoJo, and Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay.
Nice.
Benny Delon. Ooh. Shinrigari, trippy supernatural psychological anime by the creator of Lane. Kino no Tabi, Hunter x Hunter, Haikyuu, and Monogatari.
Cool.
Okay.
Like Heroes in that they were on a budget, except they did it better. Exactly.
Yes. No particular order, but Haikyuu will remain number one for me. Of course, Yachi26 would say that.
Yeah.
Haikyuu, Assassination Classroom, Made in Abyss, The Disastrous Life of Psyche, Kusuo, and Mob Psycho 100. Yeah,
Nice.
Actually, can we talk about Mob Psycho 100 real quick? I just wanted to bring this up really quick.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of anime in the recent years, I would say, where people are going like, "Oh, this is the best anime of all time, best anime." But I think there are a couple people who have looked at certain anime we've seen in the last like 5 years or so and gone like, "Ooh, this one has the makings of a classic. It does certain things in a unique way, but it is also very familiar in other areas to where it's going to hit that mainstream appeal. But it has a lot of heart to it. It has a lot of something something. And I think Mob Psycho 100
Yeah.
If they get a good like final third season, because I'm pretty sure that there's not going to be like much material left, because people have told me how short the manga is.
Right, I believe it's 100 chapters.
Yeah, that's like nothing. I'm like,
which 3 cores, that sounds about right.
That sounds about right. Yeah, exactly. Having Mob Psycho being in that phase where we're still I'm still off the high of season 2. I think that will be kind of up there with Attack on Titan in my mind for being kind of a modern classic anime.
Sure.
I just put that out.
I know people who won't watch Mob Psycho because of the art style. Well, those people need to be slowly drawn over to the proper side.
I think actually we'll look back on the future. Big brain time. We're going to look back on the future, and a lot of the anime and the style and what have you that we looked at as kind of like, oh, that's different and I don't like it, is actually going to be a thing that helps it in some ways in the long term, to where things like Mob Psycho 100 will actually become much bigger once we're kind of looking back on them.
Gotcha. Oh, what anime older than 10 years do you really want to watch?
What anime older than 10 years do I really want to watch?
Yeah. Because
well, there's been a couple that have been on polls recently. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. We're going to be watching it. It's replacing Parasite the Maxim on our Monday slot reaction.
This is indeed true.
If you want to see it this Monday, get on that early access Patreon, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There. So yeah.
Please say Mushishi.
Mushishi would be a good one to watch finally. Yes. Oh, here's some ones that I haven't seen. In order, Gintama. Yes, I want to watch Gintama at some point. Attack on Titan, Golden Kamui. I'd love to see that at some point. Or read the manga. Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and Monster. Oh, and Monster, of course.
Yep. Monster. Fantastic.
Monster, I feel like, is a transcendent anime that will be good no matter what time you watch it in. Like, I think because the art style is so minimalist and realistic.
Oh yeah, it is absolutely incredible, and the sound design is just
Gintama reactions confirmed. I did not confirm Gintama reactions, everybody. Yeah.
Oh man.
Actually, could we talk about the current kind of selection of anime we've got going into the end of the year here, and kind of think about like, after 30 years of anime, we are now doing these little like Crunchyroll's even doing like anime awards. And wasn't Crunchyroll at one point a pirating site?
I think so.
Yeah.
Either that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That or a hentai site. I can't.
One of those two.
Maybe both. Yeah.
So both potentially. Yeah. And now we've got little like anime awards.
So is Faku.
Yeah, for 2019. What do you think has actually the potential to be the 2019 anime of the year? Like, what do you all think? What do y'all put up there?
I want to say Vinland Saga, but for Crunchyroll's voting system, I feel like it will probably end up being Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer?
Yeah. Like, just because of how ridiculously popular Demon Slayer was. Like...
Oh, people's putting in Vinland Saga. Yeah. JoJo's? Okay. Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2? Yeah. It's got that sequel power,
Whoo!
Yeah.
Like it probably won't win, but I think Attack on Titan Season 3 Part 2.
What about those non-action shows that you think should be the anime of the year for 2019, but they're not going to get that many votes?
Like Domestic Girlfriend.
Oh my god, that did not come out in 2019, Jacob.
Yes, it did.
It did?
Pretty sure.
Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
I thought it came out earlier.
No, I haven't. Or wait, maybe?
It did? Oh, I'm wrong. Ha! Whoops. Okay. Okay, it did. Gotcha.
Yeah, early 2019. Yeah, like at the very beginning. Yep.
Meru Titan.
Oh boy.
Ay.
Yeah.
Oh man. Jacob pushing Domeicano has made it feel like longer. You don't know.
Well said, Psychronia.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
Hey.
Nobody knows my sorrow.
Hey, let me enjoy my wholesome incest love triangle in peace.
Please clip that, everybody. That was beautiful. I need that. I
But
need that
seriously,
clip.
the manga's pretty great, and the spoilers channel for it on the Discord is one of my favorite places on Earth.
Yeah, I need that sauce. That was
but-
beautiful. Oh shoot, I missed a gifted sub. Put your grasses on gifting a tier 1 sub to Psychronia. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
grasses. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Wait, now Caleb, you know how to put a stop to it. Read the manga. No. I'm just gonna Captain America and be like, no, I don't think I will.
No. It's more of a, I could do this all day.
Me getting shilled domestic girlfriend, bloodied, and like, I can do this all day.
But you know you can't. Yeah.
And we can make a meme with like Date Eiji and like Ippo. Date's just pummeling Ippo to pieces.
Wait, grasses.
And Ippo's just like, no, I won't read it. I won't read it.
Grasses, I may be reacting to Domestic Girlfriend Jacob at some point. Oh boy. Manga or anime, whatever, let me know. Get me the sauce. I will be there for that.
In conclusion, what we can determine is that if you put yourself through the ringer of 30 years of anime, you will lead yourself to the path of degeneracy, where you will then get into incestual love triangle,
it's wholesome.
garbage, not hentai anime.
It's wholesome. And what I will say is that 30 years doesn't have to be an actual 30 years. It can be a simulated 30 years because of the intergalactic Zubabababa chamber, whatever the thing is. I tried to pull a Goku from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Hypersonic tube simulator.
Hypersonic time eater.
Yeah. Right. But
Hebalaptic snot chamber.
Right. Yeah.
Hypersonic mind grinder.
It doesn't have to take 30 years. It could take just a few years, because during your anime awakening, you consume anime at a rate that is statistically impossible. So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a good one to just have as a podcast topic, single female. What shows on Rewatch have changed your initial impressions significantly?
Ooh.
I have a couple of those. I do have a couple of those, but I would say I'd save it for a podcast topic.
Oh, not even saying why, but just like saying what they are.
Teasing them? No, I don't think I will.
No, I don't think I will.
No.
You're gonna leave me here? Well, I was gonna have you think, imagine that I might one day read the Domeicano manga for life, but I kind of like this better.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I thought you were a changed man.
Oh, you would love that discussion? Okay, well, very cool. Oh, like me watching One Piece instead of sleeping while I was at school? Thankfully, my teachers let me sleep in their class. Oh, no.
Being a virgin for 30 years, you get superpowers like heat vision. Fight. Oh, boy.
Yes.
First time on stream, just would like to tell you thank you from Japan. Thank you, Northern
Can
Sea.
we all shout out Northern Sea? Thank you for watching
Glad
the stream.
you could stop by.
From Japan. Appreciate it.
Psychronia, Jacob, holding a copy of Domestic Girlfriend in a silent voice. Precious.
My precious.
Domestic Girlfriend needs to get an actual physical, English release. Because there have been many releases already, but no. Anyways.
Yeah. Cast it into the fire! Destroy it!
No.
Jacob!
It will be an heirloom to my kingdom. all who come after me shall be bound to its fate, for I will risk no harm to the Domeicano.
Yes. No, well, it's weird, because if you tell people you're really good at the Smeagol voice, what it actually means is that you were so mentally unstable at one point in your life that you practiced the Smeagol voice a lot.
Jacob, Daga, Kotoar.
No, it's you have to have it with the Daga Kotowaru, you know, with the full tilt and everything. Yes. The next level of degeneracy. Hey, yeah, I know what you mean that I'm behind in my anime journey and I will eventually end up where Jacob is. But the thing is that I'm not in any rush to get through my anime journey. So there's plenty of time.
No, but see, that's not the
and
end
it's like it's like that equation where I will never fully approach zero. I'll just keep getting closer and closer.
The asymptote,
the asymptote.
But the thing is, Caleb, that's not the end of the anime journey. You actually plunge through the depths and warp through time and space, and then after going through the degeneracy, then you get to things like Komi-san. And you get to all of this wonderful stuff that you never knew about before. And it's a whole new world.
I'm like that cat. No. Can't wait they start watching Babylon and the misread it and start reacting to Babylonia. It will happen. You know it. Wait.
I will keep that in mind now.
Yeah, that just got drilled into the long-term memory.
We went from amazing anime of this season to probably some hentai.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I think Babylon was almost put in a seasonal poll, but that was we were like, this could be a good one to put in the seasonal poll. One episode was out when we were looking at it. We were like, no, not happening. So yeah, that's
Legend of Galactic Heroes is Mondays.
Yes, Monday.
Komi-san does open up a whole new world. There are plenty of stories where it's just protect. Yep, and that's wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, if Babylon's good, it'll happen at some point. Then, no rush.
Oh, remember when everyone wanted you to watch? There's nothing else in that message, but I can already tell. It's going to be The Promised Neverland.
Yeah. Have you heard of The Promised Neverland? It's still one of our top clips on Twitch. Is me just going, have you heard of The Promised Neverland? We get it. There are good there are good anime coming out right now that people really want us to see.
I'm a Jew.
So.
I think Jacob would treat Komi as the sons of Fëanor regard the Silmarils. Oh, that's right. It's December. That means a fourth volume of Komi-san is going to be coming out soon. Yeah.
I love hearing his sounds from outside the room when he's reading Komi-san. I can definitely tell it is a quality.
You can hear experience. The diabetes,
Yeah, I'm getting secondhand, just fattening stuff in the air. I'm like,
oh yeah,
and I'm bloated just from that specific bit there
because it's just that sweet. Yep.
By the way, Caleb, is that best clip of the year contest still a thing? Yes, it is.
Oh,
good memory.
Really?
Good memory, Suleron. Suleron's been around a long time though, so that kind of makes sense. So, yeah.
Jacob Komi mod, be ye mod, admin or normie.
I don't get the vowel bit. Okay.
You can make a supercut of all the Jacob's incoherent diabetes noises. That sounds amazing. I would actually love to see that just for the sake of reliving the experience.
Oh, okay. Oath of Fëanor nonsense. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Oh, what? People are calling this Babylon show a new monster or Death Note?
Oh, wow.
Really, though? Monster? I get maybe the Death Note bit, because it's probably something that has some kind of supernatural abilities or what have you, but you sure? I don't know.
Bunny Girl Senpai has been on a poll. Yes. Just, bullshit.
Our mod has spoken. One of our most vocal mods has just dropped the hottest of takes. Just hey, I mean, you
right. There's no need for comparison.
Yeah, it's all
we're
good.
Sure, it's fantastic. Yeah, and
exactly.
I would definitely love to see
for sure. Mm-hmm. The danger zone. Oh well, next faction war idea is incoming.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're headed towards 2020.
Yes, indeed. And with this journey that we've had, right? Because this has been quite a journey, there comes the ever looming and impending question that we must answer time and time again of what do you do now by family members and friends and things like that. And one of the things that is helpful...
That wasn't a complete sentence. What do you do what?
Wait.
You said, what do you do? And then you just...
Oh. When there is posed the ever-looming and growing question of what do you do by friends and family members?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
What do you do? And
by...
Because as we become more and more degenerate, right? Because the degenerate thing is inescapable. And this
so
journey
confused.
that we are going on and that we have been going on is just sinking us deeper and deeper. And given that we are fairly new on our anime journey, you know, definitely less than 10 years as we figured out, right?
Right.
Then in 10 years from now, where will we be? Where will we be? How will we possibly be able to look at our poor dear grandmother and say, yes, we are your good grandkids that definitely do not make a living with anything related to, I don't know, questionable things that might give you a heart attack. Like, you know, how do we?
I don't have this problem. This is not a problem for me. Guys, I just got a girlfriend. I had to explain to her parents. No. Shut up. I had to explain to her parents and in-laws on Thanksgiving what I do for a living. That was easy. Wipe my shoulders off with that shit. Like, it's not. Like.
Domekano world problems. Oh, God.
Yeah, like. Please.
By the way, yeah, Caleb, in Domekano Spoilers channel, they're saying, like, so in order to get Caleb to read the Domekano manga, we need to get his girlfriend to read the Domekano manga, and then that's how we'll get him.
Well, okay. I actually think there's a legitimate way she could get into anime. The way I think it would work is she's watched one Ghibli film, and that was My Neighborhood Friend Totoro.
Oh, that's a great one.
And that was way long time ago she watched it. And she was like, oh, yeah, you know. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay. Like, there are other movies like that. And that is where you blip, 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 blip.
And then eventually, Haikyuu. You know, I don't know if that... Yeah, Haikyuu. That'd probably be a good one, right?
That is amazing, perv. We are still your grandsons, and no, we're not doing any drugs. Drugs would be cheaper and healthier.
We say from, like, playing our gacha game, you know, collecting waifus, and it's like, do I have a mortgage on this application? No, not at all.
Bruh, show her Berserk. She'll love it. Oh my gosh. Seriously, just watch anime around her and be like a fisherman. Just be patient and wait for the bite. I mean, yeah, I'm not in any rush. So, yeah. Oh, yes, thank you guys for the congrats with the girlfriend stuff. It's been really good and it's going very well. So thank you for the congratulations and stuff. Yes, Mesker actually is more on the money than you'd probably like to admit. I basically did the most, like...
deflection,
yeah, like here's the thing. So there are, like, old people, and then there's, like, old as balls people. Like, where it's, like, I told them essentially that I did YouTube, and that I discuss, you know, animation media entertainment. And they're like... like a podcast. I was like, exactly like a podcast.
Actually, yeah, really close.
That's exactly what I said.
I mean, that's what our discussions basically
are.
And
the thing is that, like, that whole discussion was great for them, but then the not really old people, but the people who are like, that smells of BS. Like,
right, yeah.
But what do you actually do? And I had this moment, I was looking at them, and I'm like, and then
I plead the fifth.
Then I literally went and I was like, okay, I'll just tell you the basic story. So I sat down with them and I was like, so a lot of people do YouTube channels.
Moved into a separate room from the
No. I basically, like, just tried to talk, like, new lingo so the old people kind of didn't really get it. They were just having to go, and I said, like, you know, I make anime videos. I make YouTube videos discussing anime and what have you, and do this with my brother, and we have a really good time getting into the storytelling aspects of said anime. And then I quickly made it so they couldn't answer questions or ask questions, and was like, so you know how with like YouTubers and stuff, they're gonna like put up a video and what have you, and they're just gonna talk about it, and that'll be their thing, right? Like for us, it's more of us going through like specific shows and kind of dissecting them and getting into them and really getting into that experience with everyone there. And I'm basically like rattling off words so they don't even get the chance to basically like give anything to that. So that once I had gotten to the point where they were like able to kind of process what had happened, they were just like, wow, that's quite a lot. I'm like, well, I'm glad you have your brother to do it with you. And then one of the guys, I think it was the brother-in-law essentially, just goes like, so do you watch like lots of anime? And I kind of looked at him and I had this moment of like, you are an anime fan. Yes. And I go like, yeah. And he's like, so like the 90s, 80s maybe? I'm like, oh, the 90s, yeah. You know, Berserk. And he goes like, oh, okay. And he starts basically like flexing on me as like he's basically a huge anime fan, and he's not wanting to reveal it in front of everyone here. So he goes like, yeah, like Cowboy Bebop. I'm like, yeah. We're like building slowly to like the more like obscure stuff. And he goes like, I like the ones that are really educational, as he like turns to his mother or his mother-in-law, and he's like I really love Shokugeki no Soma, you know, or what have you. And I'm like, he's trying to test to see if I understand the Japanese or what have you. I'm like, yes, Food Wars is a very popular anime for its specific area there. I'm not claiming whether or not I've seen it, because I haven't seen it at all. But he's all like, yes. Educational. This guy is giving me like the I like educational.
Because it's both, right? Because, you know, it has apparently real recipes, but then at the same time.
So then as they get bored, we start basically going back and forth, rattling off anime that we really like. He goes through like 25 anime that he's a huge fan of, and then as we're like still in this discussion here, it becomes more friendly and more kind of bantering back and forth and stuff. And he's like, so do you watch any like kind of like, you know, kind of self-aware kind of anime parody stuff, you know, like abridges and stuff? I'm like, yes. And he's like, Team 4-star? I'm like, Team 4-star. And like this is a dad with like kids and stuff, and he's just like, yeah, I can't watch any of that stuff with my family. I'm like, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. He's like, yeah.
Stay strong, soldier.
He's like, yeah. He's like, I watched the Hellsing Ultimate Abridge, and I just was like, yeah, I can't watch this with anyone. I'm like, yeah, like little Karibo and stuff. He's like, oh yeah.
So did your girlfriend say something like, brother, please don't steal my boyfriend? So do you watch hentai? Oh man, like
that's future Caleb. The family man that like only watches anime like in the dark, and I'm like, I will not corrupt my children, you know. No, my kids are
ditch your girlfriend and go out with him instead.
Yes, poor dude just wanted an anime friend.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna be Facebook friends, and it'll be cool. So yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Who still watches Abridges? I do.
Every time UBW Abridged comes out with a new episode.
Yeah.
I'm just
it's amazing.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't looked at chat as I've been ranting off this story here.
Yeah. Oh, it's
people
been
really
great.
liked the.
It's been great.
The educational bit there.
Oh, keep going. There was so much stuff. Like
educational culture to plot.
Educational? You mean prison school?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the brother, please don't steal my boyfriend. No, that was brother-in-law. So this guy was married to, I think, her sister.
Gotcha. And then there's the points where you tell someone about Usagi Drop and you're like, this is a great show. And then they're like, oh, yeah, how far does it go into the lives of the characters? I'm like, it's just the one season. It doesn't go, it's like 9 months of time or something, like no time at all, you know, because there's nothing else.
Hey, Revolutionary of the Six Paths, thank you so much for the 100 bits. I don't know if you got this question before, but what anime would you like to see in the upcoming decade? It can be a simple concept, a mix of specific genres and styles, adaptations, whatever. An ultimate frisbee anime, given the attention and dedication that Haikyuu did.
Inside of 10 years, I'm predicting.
I want it so bad. I want it so bad. Let me just talk to you about the potential within doing an ultimate frisbee anime, because ultimate frisbee as a sport is so new. So you can have literally the Hinata character who is trying to get people into playing with him on a team, but since nobody knows or plays ultimate frisbee, it's actually really tough for him to do that. And then you have like the pompous asshole Kageyama, who is way good at the sport but doesn't know how to play as a team, like play with the team. What
So 2 1 from Kelly 101. Awkward stuff. Watch the first episode of Dominicano with my mom. Since you said with my mom, did that actually happen? And if so, please tell me the story in excruciating
what was the
detail.
next thing, though?
The next one, Perv. A weeb got married? What a time to be alive.
Well, the way he was saying it was like he doesn't watch anime with his wife, so he's not getting that kind of.
He's a closet weeb.
He's a closet weeb. Yeah. It's sad.
Yep.
Bitecraft. Caleb has a man cave. He spends way too much time in watching sport, but one day his children wander in at night to find you hunched over the TV watching Domaikano season 12, and the walls are covered with anime posters. There are figurines everywhere, and he's hugging his Hinata body pillow. Nani sore? No.
Hinata body pillow or
No.
Hina body pillow?
Oh my gosh. Oh man. It's gonna go into sports that aren't even real soon. Hey, there you go. There you go.
Oh my god. My 11-year-old half-brother tried to introduce me to his favorite cartoon show. It was JoJo's. This was a month ago. I'm still trying to process this happened. Wow.
What? Princess Grimoire, that's amazing.
Wow, that is awesome.
That's so great. That's so much more wholesome than like your 11-year-old like accidentally getting like introduced to porn or something like that. It's like, hey, I found this really cool thing. Check this out. You're like,
it's
yeah, I know.
Bible Black, yeah.
Yeah, or they're like, this is the peak of waifu culture, and they show you Speedwagon, and you're like, 1, how do you know what the word waifu is? 2, awesome.
When did you grow up? Like, yeah.
Do you have anime that you dislike that everyone likes? Yeah, we've talked about this. Mm-hmm. I dislike ReZero quite a bit. And that is, again, not actually true. It's more like I despise the last
specific
third
parts,
of ReZero, yeah.
I would totally let my children have a Megumin body pillow. PG version, of course. I can see that.
All right, sure. I mean, what are all those Disney pillowcases? I mean, like,
exactly. Yeah.
It's just less of the body being
Momo
there.
somewhat best girl. Yes, except without the somewhat. Yeah.
I'd act like it's my first watch through of JoJo. There you go.
Yeah, I kind of have to be a closet weeb as well as not 100% comfortable with sharing it with too many people. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My stepbrother just got finished watching Evangelion like a week ago, and he got super into it. It's been really cool discussing with him.
Ooh,
hey,
awesome.
That's legit. Reasoning behind disliking it? The ending. The last third of the episodes. This season on Whale Wars. There's no such thing as a PG anime pillow.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wait. Well, about Domeikano, I started the episode, my mom was like, he actually, and then she gave me a weird glance when Natsuo tried to cough to Hina when I'm actually studying to be a teacher of English. Wait, what? So, okay,
did she finish the episode?
Did she finish the episode, too?
Well, no, I think that's what she's saying, because...
Oh, yeah, because that's at the end of the episode.
When Natsuo tried to cough, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they watched the whole episode then.
Wow. And what made you decide to show that to your mother? I really am curious to know.
Oh, no. Have the bros discussed Shinji's moment by the...
Yes.
I can't remember the last time I've disliked an anime, unless being bored by an anime counts.
But
Sure.
yeah, like actively disliking.
Yeah, that's a good point, because even ReZero, like, I really love certain parts of it. I absolutely love it.
And usually when I dislike something about an anime, it's not that I don't actually like it. It's that there was something I was really excited for them to do something that I thought they were going to do, and then they didn't do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I watched Attack on Titan season 1 with my mom. First anime she ever watched.
Oh wow.
Nice.
There you go.
Attack on Titan. What a
Sheesh, man. My
specific
mom.
one there.
With my mom, I tried Violet Evergarden. You all have no chill. Well, I mean, Violet Evergarden is actually, I would say, in a lot of ways, a pretty good one to show, like, the parents, especially a mom. If you just like go straight to episode 10, which you wouldn't want to do, but yeah.
But maybe you would, because in some ways the linear order of Violet Evergarden is not that important for a good chunk of the episodes.
Of course. Can anyone not like Rem's speech? I ask you only, Russell. Like, if anything, the show should have just ended right there at episode 18. Like that would have been a perfect end to the first season.
But it's funny because I'm actually genuinely excited for season 2 of ReZero. I'm
season
really
2
excited.
of ReZero actually looks like it could be pretty good.
Yeah. I actively dislike a Kame ga Kill. Okay, here's the funny thing. I never got the chance to fully dislike a Kame ga Kill. I've told this story so many times, but I gotta tell it for those that haven't heard it. We had a friend, and I almost feel bad saying it this way because, I mean, I'm never gonna reveal who the friend was.
Yeah.
But it would be awkward if they were in here. The point is that
if we keep telling this story, eventually there will be.
Yeah, that's true. There's a possibility. Basically, there was a friend who came to me and was like, "This anime is like one of the best anime ever. It's so awesome and epic. It's like super good. You gotta watch it. It's called the Kame ga Kill." And me and Jacob had this kind of look on our eyes where we went like,
we did that sort of glance, like
this glance over at each other of like, okay, sure. And he's like, no, but here's the thing, you got to watch it in the dub because like,
no, I don't think did he say it?
I think the main point was that like he preferred the dub, regardless of whether or not he was emphatically pointing it out. He preferred the dub. Let me just tell you, a Kame ga Kill, I don't have a lot of things to say about it, but the first episode is Edge incarnate. Well, it has the most bland potato protagonist ever to be introduced there. It's just a bland potato protagonist, not the worst ever. But then also the dub is practically in a bridge. Like it is so bad.
Because there's the parts. Because okay, when you have something that's edgy, in order to be edgy, it needs to be taking itself seriously, right? If it's edgy but it doesn't seem like it's taking itself seriously, then it becomes comedy. That's what this was in the dub. Because we
were laughing
because with the voices and everything, the voices were so bad that the delivery of certain lines that were supposed to be mysterious or whatever, you know, it was just
yeah. And the thing is that like I'm sure there's a lot of good moments.
Oh yeah,
in the anime,
like with the character designs that they showed at the end of the first episode. I'm like, I could see getting interested. It
feels
in
like edgy Ruby. Like, it feels like edgy Ruby.
A Kame ga Kill is the modern elfin lead. Wow. That almost feels a bit too mean. And I haven't even seen Elfin Lead. But
okay.
Let me tell you, if you hate potato protagonists, I'd recommend Quintessential Quintuplets. Okay, I've heard actually people seriously recommend Quintessential Quintuplets. So I'm confused.
They read through Berserk. The SOS bros are used to a potato protect.
Oh God! Why would you say that, Amaju?
Cursed.
Why?
Cursed. Oh, what about parents who would find Attack on Titan too fantastical? What anime should be recommended to them? Berserk is grounded, but not as exciting, and the ending, well, I would say you want to go like way more wholesome. Like just watch Sorayori.
Yeah.
Place for the universe. Your parents will love it.
Absolutely fantastic.
And they'll think you're just an adorable something or whatever because they're like, oh, you watch like inspirational stories about cute girls doing cute things, and they'll just accidentally say the subgenre. They'll just say it. And you'll just be like, I've made them into anime fans. It says, no, just keep showering them with like cute, adorable wholesomeness.
And in the case of Sorayori in particular, it'll be something where it's because, you know, parents were always worrying, like, will my little Johnny actually have the confidence to do anything, kind of a thing, right? So if you show them a show about these kids that are basically wanting to do something impactful and memorable, and then they go do it, right?
Sure. Oh, sorry, Bitecraft. Yeah, I just scrolled up and saw your recommendation. Yeah, exactly. But great minds think alike, though. So yeah. Yeah. That's what I would recommend, Matthew Bo. Yeah. Yeah. Stop. You could get someone hurt. That's the idea. Best example of best dub. Oh my gosh. With my dad, I went with Akira as the exposure anime since he was a big sci-fi mark. He loved it. Yes,
oh, sure.
I agree. Our dad is also a big sci-fi person as well, so we
did Steins Gate.
We utilized all the time travel stuff we could, basically.
Like once he was like, wait, there's a time travel thing that that explores really
what time travel is.
What time travel is? Yeah.
Yeah, and he really liked the dub of Steins Gate because it was a
really good dub.
It was I would say it was a dub that kind of broke through the cultural barrier rather well. Too.
Apparently J. Michael Tatum practically killed himself working on that one because he was not only was he Hoen Kyoma, he was also the dub like script writer director, you know, dealio. So yeah.
What do you mean what Russell said? Let me see. I think a good one to introduce people to is A Place for the Universe. Oh,
yep.
That's what we said. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's sweet, Khalid. Yeah, my dad gave me a DVD of certain shows when I was 7, like Ippo, Detroit Metal City, and Vampire Hunter. So yeah, weird stuff at that age.
Vampire Hunter.
Ippo's not too weird.
But I've heard that Vampire Hunter is definitely one of those. Which, if that's the case, then yeah, okay. I could, if that was at 7, I could kind of see Domestic Girlfriend at however old you are now.
Yes, Ameju, I have seen the DMC OVA dubs from back in the day. Yeah, they're hilarious.
Oh, definitely. My stepdad showed me Akira, but he shrugs off my anime recommendations. Ouch.
Ippo not too weird. Some of the jokes are. Yeah, sure. There you go. Don't have people walking you watching Ippo on certain scenes.
Takamura like being like, wow.
Grabs it, you know. You know, like elephant screech, you know.
Yep.
Or trumpet, more accurately. Yeah. I like a lot of anime. My second favorite is probably Attack on Titan, but JoJo takes number 1 because it always keeps me excited and on my toes. Cool,
that's awesome.
Style. Yeah.
Trashokan showed my stepbrother Death Note. He now got from every anime sucks to every anime but Death Note sucks. Wait. Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, so this was actually a cool moment that I broke in a guy who basically only watched Dragon Ball, you know, kind of Dragon Ball Z kind of guy. And his whole experience with anime was, you know, like he loved it. He was a meathead kind of like pumping iron, you know, and like, yeah, he loved the idea of, you know, scream. Yeah, basically that whole thing. His roommate, we were all roommates together basically, but he was basically like, but see, you haven't seen the greatest anime of all time, which is Death Note. And I'm thinking in my head like, oh, this will be good. I'll let him waste his energy breaking through the barrier of to all according as planned. I'll take this potato chip and eat it.
Yeah.
Editor's note, you know, all that stuff. And once he got him to watch Death Note, the guy was like, yeah, this is pretty good. Okay. And then I was just sitting there in the background, like, all according to cake, you know, because I'm like, I'm about to like,
you're all
I'm about to get him to watch so many weird anime after this. I, over the course of time, got him to watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood first in the dub. That was basically the thing that broke the waterfall, and he went crazy and watched everything from then on out.
Nice.
But yeah,
so
basically
Domestic Girlfriend.
Well, no, I just basically had him go through all the popular stuff that we've reacted to. Haikyuu,
So
Monster,
domestic girlfriend. No.
no, like MHA.
Mhm.
What else? I think he basically like kind of
One Punch
shrugged
Man?
off. I think he shrugged off the earlier parts of JoJo's because he was
Okay.
like, "This
Bit
is a
too
bit
weird.
long and it's a bit weird, but I'll come back to it."
Mhm.
So, yeah, I told him that JoJo's is basically like better Dragon Ball Z in a lot of ways because it's, but it's better. It's just clearly better.
Mhm.
But yeah, there were a lot of ones that I got him into, but it was necessary in some ways. Like someone who was saying that their brother was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Went from all anime sucks to all anime except Death Note sucks.
right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a Death Note,
Yep.
a good show
Right.
that is considered by many to be the greatest. Even though it's
It's a great show.
it's a great show.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's better stuff out there, like
Yeah. Well, that was me with Attack on Titan for a long time because, like, if I could get people to watch Attack on Titan, I felt like I could, like, they would just get wrapped up in the hype of it, and then that could kind of break through the facade of
right.
all anime is childish or sucks or
Yeah.
or is porn or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still love that meme of the kid that's like, anime is stupid, and the entire background of his room is all Attack on Titan paraphernalia, just covering every square inch.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Wow. Yes, it's but instead they yell other things, like your next line will be.
Indeed.
Yada yada does it. Death Note is good at crossing culture. Attack on Titan is decent at that too. I think Attack on Titan hits that dystopic kind of thing that's going on right now in the West, where we're all like, burn society.
Right.
Oh wait, we do want to live. Have other things burn
Irwin.
society.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not full nihilism, but like the world is nihilistic. Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. We live in
Made in Abyss. Some may think that Bible Black was made in a sort of abyss.
Hunter x Hunter has been my favorite anime for the longest time, followed by Ebo. I've watched Hunter x Hunter 4 times, twice on my own, and 2 times with reaction channels. One was yours. Oh, cool. Only Russell. Yeah, it's a good show. When I was young, I would watch various anime with my little sister. It was in the anime dub era, so we spent a lot of our time laughing at goofy localizers and having fun.
Nice.
That's adorable, Psychronio. That's
awesome.
Wonderful. Oh my gosh. It's getting rather late. I'm going to sleep. Bye. See ya, Trashokan. See ya.
Attack on Titan happened when zombies were crazy stupid in the West. Yes, it was like basically Walking Dead with like...
I salute you, Otaku. Good luck.
Wait, what?
May your venture be fruitful and successful.
Oh. Yes. Best of luck.
Most memorable quotes
Stay
range
strong.
from, just look at him playing with his walnuts. And you're a boxer.
Wow.
Wow. I think that my family was convinced the anime thing was a phase.
Yeah, right? Like one of my favorite
real.
One of my favorite Gigik videos when he was making the transition onto like, doing it full time, right? So he was actually putting out videos more than like once every 6 months or something. Was that video where he was talking about like the fact that it wasn't just a phase, right? That he didn't just grow out of it and everyone was expecting him to, and then it's like, nope. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've been talking for quite a bit here, and we've just been doing Q&A for this time now, so we're going to wrap up the podcast right about now. But thank you all for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Just kind of shooting the breeze and talking about stuff. There are around 100 of you here. That was really cool.
And I will say again, because I mentioned this at the beginning, but go watch some KyoAni shows if you haven't.
Yeah.
Like whether Fumofu or a silent voice, like I've talked about a silent voice a ton, or Nichijou or like Clanad, like there are so many out there, and there's a lot of stuff there. So check it out.
Yeah. Revolutionary the Six Paths. What new video of Gigux is a masterpiece? What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, we do all our streams at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Monday for the podcast, Tuesday for One Piece, Thursday for Yakuza
0. We had a break last week because of, Thanksgiving
holidays and stuff.
And
then on Fridays we got Tales of Berseria. We also had a break last week because of holiday, so be sure to check that out as well. So yeah, see you all in a future stream. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.
Yes, and Haruhi. That is another absolute must from KyoAni. Another absolute must that a lot of you do need to check out because it's pretty great is Battle Lines, my sci-fi novel that's available to purchase on Amazon in both hardcover and ebook. It's really fantastic. There's a lot of great hype moments. You've read it, Caleb. So I know that it's probably hard to pin down like a particular moment that's your favorite, but if you had to choose, which one would it be?
I would say it's